When confronted, I told her she'll be leaving the home so we can start on divorce proceedings, only to be met with waterworks and screaming. Welcome back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories, where I go over them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today, gonna go over a story titled, "My wife is a wreck after her affair, begging to spend Christmas at our house, but I don't want her to." And guys, this story is about a guy who, unfortunately, like many before him, found out that his wife of many years is having an affair. But instead of acting like a total bitch on this situation, he handles it like a boss. This is like boss week. A lot of guys handle things like a boss this week. And you're going to see here, this is sadly nothing new. He's been married to her for like 20 years. He has 3 kids together. The last kid is 16 years old, a daughter in high school, still living in the house with him. And he thought he had a really happy marriage on multiple fronts. And he finds out about this in the usual typical way. But instead, like I handle it like a bitch, he handles it like a boss and sends her ass packing, which is great. That'll be a very good one here to go over, guys, just to show you how things should be done. And it is rare because a lot of times the guys cave and they cave to her crying and drama and all that, but not this guy. So that'll be a good one. So it starts off, says here, "I've been with my soon-to-be ex-wife since we were 19 years old. We married at 23 years old. Smack. 23. Way too freaking young. This guy is younger than me, and he got married 23. It's out of his freaking mind. Anyhow, that drives me crazy. And we had 3 great kids with many memories that I will remember regardless of what is happening. We're both 43 years old now and been married for 20 years. I'm an entrepreneur and my wife is a paralegal, if that matters. I bring in a good amount more than she does." Uh-oh. "We've never had any issues in our marriage with infidelity, abuse, financial problems, or lack of SCX. She always seemed extremely happy with me and me with her." Well, very few women walking the earth you could ever say are happy, let alone extremely happy. And clearly, judging by her actions here, she wasn't happy. Because happy women that truly love their guy and are happy in multiple fronts don't have affairs. So D-Day was a few months ago. In this state, you need to be living separately before divorce proceedings can begin. My wife was not really acting different, just her normal, happy self. So she was putting on an act. I did notice she was spending more time texting her girlfriends and being more guarded with her phone, and I decided to snoop around. That is one of the biggest signs, guys. The always texting, guarding her phone for dear life. There are a lot of other signs, but those are definite big ones. What I found was flirtatious and sexting messages between her and a dude who works at her law firm, who I may add is not very attractive at all and is packing the pounds and is about 10 years older than us. The affair was apparently only emotional with a few kisses, but I didn't buy any of that bullshit. A few kisses, that's what she said? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if it was one kiss. Doesn't matter if it was the texting and clearly through the text you can see something's going on. It's over. And by the way, there's no way she's going to admit to any more than she has to. Guaranteed. She's probably just doing her boss. When I confronted, I told her that she'll be leaving the home so we can start on our divorce proceedings. Only be met with waterworks and screaming. Why is she screaming? He should be screaming, but notice he's being calm here at the moment, and she's screaming. I chose to confront her in our room and did not expect to have that big of an outburst as our 16-year-old daughter heard her. So he's trying to keep this as quiet as possible, and she's having a fucking meltdown, even though it's her fault. Now bringing the kid involved. I told her I knew everything. Her crying, saying nothing happened, and she doesn't want to be without me. Well, if you didn't want to be without me, then you wouldn't be having an affair, and don't tell me that nothing happened. I held it together, even though I was absolutely heartbroken. The love of my life and the mother of my children, talking and probably effing some jackass who's also married. Of course he's married. I also notified his wife, which he thanked me for and just seemed utterly broken. Hopefully that woman leaves the douchebag. I love it. Good for him. Not just kicking his wife out, which is rare because most guys will just leave, but he informed the wife of this dude. He just seemed to charm my wife. She complained to him about the lack of attention and affection that I showed her, with him telling her everything that she wanted to hear. The sexting and flirting just ripped my heart out, as she has confessed to all she's confessed to is kissing, but her word is obviously not worth shit. Yeah, I think more like he's probably been plowing her on his desk at the law office. That's probably what's going on. Gee, not that that doesn't happen. And notice he mentions that the lack of affection and attention. He's a business owner. You're married to a guy who makes a hell of a lot more money than she does. 3 kids. That's the cost. You're married to a guy who owns his own business or businesses. They're busy all the freaking time. I know this because I'm an entrepreneur myself and own multiple businesses. But guess what? You're not going to get as much attention and affection, but when you do get it, it's special because he cares about you. And he's providing for you and his kids. But that's not good enough because you can never make them happy. They're either unhappy because you don't make enough money, even though you're around a lot, and therefore you try to work harder or take a second job or whatever to bring in more money, and then they're not happy because you're never around as much. There's no making them happy. She begged and pleaded for counseling, but I told her I want to be separated before I consider anything. Good. Get her the hell out of the house, because he said you can't begin divorce proceedings in his state until you're actually separated out of the house, so get her out. I've been thinking divorce this whole time and just want this whole thing over with. She has sent me apology letters and love notes, which I just don't think I can read anymore. I just can't go back to her. See, he's done. That's it. Anybody here has been cheated on and just blindsided by it. Guys become either they break down or they become numb or angry as all hell. And the guys that become numb, they're just done. There's no going back. Our youngest daughter, who is 16 years old and the only one who still lives at home, has taken it the hardest. She doesn't want anything to do with her mother at the moment, and their contact is limited. She found out about their affair, and the cause of her, my mother told her, maybe out of fear, that I was going to tell. Didn't really plan on it. I don't think I could have gotten over this without her support. She really is the light of my life, and having her support me has made this so much easier. Well, that's awesome that his daughter is on his side, and she's being there for her dad and all that. But I'd be very careful with her, telling her too much and making her his support blanket. You know, she is still a kid, 16 years old, teenager, and you know, I mean, it's great she's there for him, but I don't want to mess anything up with her. She's hurting too. Keep in mind. She may be as beautiful as her mom on the outside, but she's remarkable on the inside. She's against me reconciling and has informed me that a friend of hers, mom, has the hots for me and to possibly pursue it after a divorce. Well, you can say to your daughter, it's very nice that your friend's mom has the hots for me. That's nice to hear that. However, I'm going to get through my divorce right now. And there's no way in hell he should be dating anytime soon after he divorces, because he needs to get his life together and all that. And I don't think he'd want to anyway. But also, his daughter's friend's mom, no. Why mess something up? And I might add, she's a single mom, so don't even go there. My wife has been living with her parents and is apparently not doing well. Oh, poor baby. She texts me often, but I'm usually short with my responses. I wouldn't be talking to her at all. I'd be like, look, we can let the lawyers deal with things. End of freaking story. I've told her I wanted a divorce, but she acts as if she's in denial and doesn't understand what I'm saying. Just today, I received a text from her begging to have Christmas dinner at her house because all her children will be there and she wants to see me. I don't want her to be there. It's her house as well, but she destroyed effing everything. Right, exactly. If she wants to see the kids at Christmas, they can arrange to go to her house where the grandparents are. They can all get together, but he's done. There's going to be no Christmas gathering. You're the one that caused this. I believe me seeing her will not be good for me either. I may want to take her back afterwards. I'm lucky I've had a support system throughout this. Just how could she do this to me? She threw everything away, and I was a good husband, took care of her needs, provided for the family, and took care of my appearance. I don't smoke, and I don't drink often. I don't want her anymore. The woman I knew was gone the moment she decided to throw it all away. There you go. That's all you need to say. She destroyed the trust. You cannot have a relationship like this without trust. And you know what? He's also a guy who's 43 years old. He ain't that old, because he's younger than me. He's not that old. And once he gets through the divorce, and he's obviously going to take a hit because, especially if he lives in a no-fault divorce state, he's going to take a hit. He's got to pay alimony and all that. But you know what? It's better that he moves on and starts over because he owns his own business or businesses. And a guy like that, entrepreneurs are very resourceful people. and they can take nothing and make something of it. And even if he takes the hit financially and all that, he'll still be fine. And meanwhile, she, at 43, good luck there. You know, he's still in his prime and will continue to grow in his prime as he makes something of himself. He'll just put all his time and energy into his businesses and be 10 times better in 10 years than what he is right now. Thank you all for reading this long rant. Happy holidays for those who are celebrating, and for those who aren't, I still hope this time of the month brings joy to all. All of us are just going through tough shit. There you go. So it wasn't very long, but it shows you how you're supposed to handle a situation like this. It's unfortunate it happens. But if he took her back, I guarantee you, she may be on her best behavior for a little while, but it's only a matter of time before the same bullshit is going to happen again. She's going to feel neglected, unloved, and she'll look for attention and validation, because that's the key, and some dick elsewhere. But best to move on. And I'm glad that the daughter, again, is on his side. He didn't mention his other kids, but I'm going to assume that they're probably on his side as well. You make your bed and you lie in it. End of freaking story. And if this situation was reversed, and it was a chick writing this story, and it was about her husband doing the same thing, I would say the same thing, you know? So I wish him the best. All he can do is focus on his purpose, get through all this whole thing, put his attention to his businesses, but don't go back to her. Or don't let her come back. It's a bad idea. And there'll be plenty of crying and begging and pleading. And I'm sure he may get some family and friends telling him they should take her back. Or no, it'd be a bad idea. Now some comments before I wrap this up. One guy says here, I'm very sorry this happened to you. Betrayal hurts like a bitch, particularly after a long marriage. Kudos to you for quickly drawing the line in the sand and sticking to it. I really wish I did that with my marriage. It took me 4 more D-days before I finally said enough and divorced him. Oh, this is from a woman. Stick to your guns. By the way, I had a teenage daughter at the same time, and we did talk about it. She needed to process the whole thing too. I didn't want to be a dirty little female family secret that we never talk about. I guarantee that you shouldn't lean on her. I agree that you shouldn't lean on her for emotional support, but I would certainly let her know that you're there for her if she wants to talk. Yeah. You can talk about things, but don't put too much on her shoulder. She's a kid after all. Another one says here, you have a good sense of what's best for you. Stick to it. My soon-to-be ex is constantly asking to come see me. If I ever cave, it just makes me feel like crap. The fact is that he cheated and he threw everything away and he's not the problem. I thought he was. This is so much easier to accept when I limit my contact with him. They want us to save them from the consequences of their selfish actions, not our job. So these are both comments from women telling him, cut it loose and all that. Another one says here, sometimes it takes losing the person who means the most for you to really see what they mean to you. I suspect this emotional affair took her by surprise and stirred up feelings that she hadn't felt in a while. It's nothing more than a rush that fades, an easier trap to fall into, and you would think, if you think you could trust her again and you could be happy, then give her another chance. Smack to the commenter. There were some people. There were people in the comment section that were actually telling him to give her a second chance. No, bad idea. Do not know about once a cheater, always a cheater. Come on. He'd take her back. It would just be more bullshit. And she would lose respect for him, and bad idea. And last one says here, why go through years of pain trying to reconcile? You may forgive, but you will never forget. Right. This will always be in his head. You can never go back to the old relationship, to your prior view, love and respect for your wife. That is over forever. So you have to start new. Why not with somebody new who you can view in a special way? Your soon-to-be ex made a decision after decision, choice after choice to lie, cheat, and deceive, and gaslight you for her PA. For his desires, for her lust, drop the baggage now. Amen. So aside from a few people saying, maybe give it a second chance, or some bullshit like that, overwhelmingly the comment section is on his side, so that's good to hear. And I wish him the best. So guys, get in a situation like this, and I certainly don't want that to happen to you, you know what to do. Alright guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below and think about this. And guys, you find a good story like me to cover, by all means email to me, strongsuccessfulmale@gmail.com. Just give me some time to get to it, and I definitely will. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.